Spirituality, up to my understanding, is the science. The external science is medicines, genetics, nanotechnology, computer has given us the outer comforts, luxuries, and everything. The person may have the inner things. Sometimes people have stress. People may have difference of opinions, which they may not know how to resolve amicably. And our scriptures say that human beings have three types of afflictions. Adi means mental disturbances, Vyadi means physical disturbances, and Upadhi means something coming from outside. So if they are there, then there should be some understanding, some inner vision, which can enable us to remain in samadhi, means in a balanced or unperturbed state, or inner harmony. So what's that understanding which can give me happy, harmonious, positive, or meaningful living? It's the first place. So say that as there are outer sciences, there is a whole science pertaining to my inner self, where I am there, my mind, speech, body is there, how they are related. The scriptures say Purushan, Prakriti, Atman and Anatman. But simply speaking, I am is, everybody knows I am. Mm-hmm. And then mind, speech, body, inner happenings, outer happenings, nature, natural regulatory system. Everything is there. So if I don't have inner issues, I may have many questions. Whether the God is there or not. If God is there, what the God is doing. What's the form of God, for example. Or whether what is in my realm or what is not, what all can I do independently, what all can I not do independently. Sometimes the things are favorable, I feel, oh, I'm the doer. Sometimes, despite my all best efforts, the things may not go my way. Then there is inner confusion also. So, basically, if the spirituality is said to be it's put in the form of inner science or holistic science of my inner or life and living, then people may get little interested. Oh, this is not something abstract. Mm-hmm. This makes sense to my daily living or my life and living. So there are many things, how my inner self is functioning, what is mind, what is intellect, what is ego, how the speech comes out, and so many things. So in first place, those who do not believe in God is fine, but they believe that they are living, right? Mm-hmm. And they believe that they want happiness or inner harmony, whatever you say. So everybody wants happy, harmonious, positive, or meaningful living. Everybody may have some questions about some things, or if not questions, how can I experience my inner freedom? How can I realize my inner potentials? And what's the ultimate truth? So that much, though, I think everybody would be interested into. So then we take further. Okay. As there are outer things, there are inner things. So if I talk about happiness, usually the people try to find happiness from the material things. That is also okay. Enjoy. You are in USA, you have all the right to enjoy. But whether it gives you inner fulfillment or not, usually the people try to find out from competition and comparison. So you have this house and your junior has a bigger one, so you feel that, oh, I should run more. Tejas has 4-5 houses. So somebody like me will feel that I don't have anything. No? So something like that. So what really gives us happiness at the level of heart? These are simple things, but these are very fundamentals of spirituality. Spirituality is nothing but my own inner science or science of life and living. So it's said that whatever actions, if you have a small child at home, if you decide that, okay, we'll celebrate the birthday of that child after 15 days or a month, you have yet not invited anybody, not spent $1, but just decided. So you start feeling happy. Why? Because whichever action of my mind, speech or body which are going to offer happiness to others do offer happiness to me first. Right? And that everybody will experience. Reverse is also true. That if somebody says that Tejas was speaking bad about you, then I go, oh, let me teach him a lesson. He is enjoying with Bijal. What happens to me? First lesson is learned by me. So, whichever actions of my mind, speech, and body which are going to disturb or hurt others, do disturb me first.
Okay.
So, this is a very simple truth. And if it is understood, then everybody will try to look within. Okay, let my mind, speech, and body not disturb others because I don't want to get disturbed myself first. Or let my mind, speech, and body not hurt any living being, but instead let my mind, speech, and body offer happiness and help to others. Before helping others, really I am helped first, because my energy level improves, my aura body improves, my good hormones are secreted.
Right.
So this is first fundamental lesson, that each action of my mind, speech, and body do affect me first before affecting others positively or negatively. So something like that we can try to talk to them, or we can just have the. So it's not necessary that person not going to temple is not spiritual. It's one part of the story. Person who understands, person may not be going to temple, but otherwise may be very good, maybe helping, maybe offering happiness to others. So that to that extent, he's really a spiritual person. So this is one aspect. So then it moves ahead. And then there are many other aspects, that how can I have the harmonious living. So today the difficulty is not the shortage of resources. The difficulty is how different personalities can get together. As one of the aspects you said that you believe in God, the others are not believing in God. It's okay that you are trying to live harmoniously, but at the level of your heart you feel that we are different.
Yeah.
Right? And that's there may be n number of differences like this. So it's said that in the previous times there were farms in the home or near workplace, or in the present time there are gardens. In a farm there is everything is similar. If all are believing in God, all will be believing in God at home. In a present time it's a garden. Garden means all different varieties put together. But we enjoy garden, don't we?
Right.
One is rose, one is jasmine, one is orchid, one is mango, one is blueberry, one is strawberry. So each one has a different characteristics or attributes, but everybody has some fruit or a flower, means some positive abilities, skills or virtues. So look at what one has and don't complain of what one doesn't have. So it is said that in present times, one who can master the art of adjusting everywhere will not only be happy in this world, but will sail to the liberation. Adjust everywhere. So this is spirituality in my daily living. If I can adjust with everybody, I am spiritual to that extent in my daily living. Then there are deeper truths of life and living. That what is in my realm, what is not, what all can I do independently, what all can I not do independently, and something like that. And as far as the God is concerned, the God is one word. But yes, it symbolizes, it suggests something. So what does it suggest? So God is present in every creature, living creature, visible or invisible. Or in other words, God is there in every human being within us, every living being. But what is the form of God? That people are not really very aware or very well versed with that. Please, Sachidanand. Please. Please come.
Yes. राजन चिरायना भाई મળ્યા તમે પહેલા
પહેલા એકવાર આવી છું
તો
પણ એ પણ ટાઈમ થયો
ટાઈમ કદાચ એટલે I was also just trying to recall કે મળ્યા છે પણ સરસ ચાલો નામ શું કીધું
રાજલ અને ચિરાયના રાજલ હા
રાજલ ઓકે good to see you. So we just started talking with her. People's come and her basic questions she started was, okay, I believe in God. My other family members do not believe in God. So how can I, whether I can make them believe or not? It's certainly that. So we started from there, that what's really the spirituality is. Whether it is one who is going to temple is spiritual, or one who may not be going to temple can still be spiritual. So from there we started little talk. So spirituality is a science, which I talked to you yesterday also. So God is present in every living being, visible or not visible. But at the present moment, we are not aware of our pure form or a godly form. So what are the characteristics of God? This is one aspect. So God has the infinite knowledge, light, infinite.
Have some water, sorry.
I feel picture bigger here.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Why you should be sorry? It's a natural phenomena. One can't help it. And what is natural is natural. It's fine.
Yeah.
So people don't know. So they have no clear ideas. Somebody says God is running all these things. If God is running all these things, why the thief should be put under jail? Because the God has made him steal the things, but it's not like that. So there are many gray areas. People were not knowing how the world is governed, how the things happen, what are the forces behind, or the system behind things happening. But as we were talking about the God is the pure form of every living being. But it's a core of being, it's covered, it's not realized. So even as long as I don't realize my true form, I don't know the God within the form of God. But there are three main properties of the pure soul or God or whatever you say. And that is infinite knowing power, infinite perception power, and infinite bliss. Apart from that, there are many other qualities, but these are the three things. So in that perspective, God is there in everybody, every living being rather, or everybody. But it is covered, it's not realized. But that is the light which is giving the light for my relative self to function everything. So that is one aspect. Second aspect, whom we say God or godly form, is one who before liberation in the last 1 or 2 births has superhuman qualities, which are not seen in other human beings, like Lord Mahavira, or Lord Krishna, or Lord Ram. So they had some qualities which the other humans were not having. Why they had such qualities? Because they realized their pure self, and as they evolved, as a result of their inner pure form, inner infinite knowing power, infinite seeing for infinite bliss, as it manifests, as it opens out, then Prakriti also has the such superhuman or exceptional qualities. So we term as this is a godly form. That's from other perspective, right?
Right.
So that is how the things work. So for you, what you can do is you can just have this simple, as I said, simple spiritual fundamentals being discussed, and as long as they are fine, you should be happy. About the God, see, don't say that God exists or something. You ask whether you exist, okay? Then what is your real existential form? I am Shailesh is my relative identity. I am doctor is my relative identity. But it is my name. So who is that I who says that my name is Shailesh? Right? When I say my spectacle or my phone or my thing, the object to which I am saying is my, and the one who is saying is mine has to be different. Right? So my mind, my speech, my body, my husband, my wife. So who is that I? So everybody is aware that I am. Existential awareness is there, but who am I? What is my true form? What are my true qualities? What is my true function of my real self is not known to the people. So people don't know the self as it is. What self they are knowing is a relative self.
Yeah, in relation to other things.
Yeah, relation to other things. And if we see everything under my or mine is changing, right? Body changes, mind changes, thoughts changes, property, everything is changing. And everything has beginning and end, including body. That means they are having some finite duration or temporary. So who knows that they are temporary has to be permanent? Right?
Right.
And we say that Okay, the doer and knower both will be same, or they has to be separate? Doer and knower can both be same, or they have to be separate?
Um,
I say I did it and I say I knew it.
right.
Actually, the doer is different and the knower inside is different, but we don't know the knower. So if they come and if something like this is thrown to them, I think they will also think that, oh, this makes some sense. So there are two parts, as I said, in relative living. Once I understand that each action of my mind, speech and body do affect me first before affecting others,
Right.
I will make my choices. That for my own happiness, let my mind, speech and body offer happiness and help to others. For my own, because I don't want to suffer, let my mind, speech and body not harm or hurt anybody. And for my permanent bliss, I want to know what is permanent within me, that is, who am I, or self-realization, or Atma Yoga, whatever word you use it.
Right.
And once I know that, or once that inner vision is opened out, then with that inner vision, I can understand what is the real form of God. Till that, God is only a symbolic word for me. Right?
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Even if we go to temple, we really don't know God. We know only the outer form of God.
Yeah.
Krishna or Rama or Mahavir, we just know the outer form. And that form to went away. Krishna Bhagwan ko bhi tir laga aur chale gaye. So is God perishable? No. God has to be eternal light. So that was a temple of God. In that body, the light of pure self opened out. So in real sense, the God or the pure soul light is eternal. It is permanent. It is indestructible. So this is how I think. So for the moment you can have the hearty prayer or desire that my family members also get best of their life, relative as well as real,
Okay.
by true understanding, and that will make your vow come true.
Sounds good. Riya.
You can ask again further whatever you want to ask into that. In brief, I just So રાજલબેન, તમે ગુજરાતીમાં બી વાત થાય
કેમ નહીં
એ પણ બરોડાની છે.
મને ખબર. અચ્છા, બધા વડોદરા વાળા
તમે ત્યાં
વડોદરા જ છું.
વડોદરામાં ક્યાં
હું નિઝામ, મારું રેસિડેન્સ નિઝામપુરા છે
ઓકે
અને મારું હોસ્પિટલ ભાઈલાલ અમીન હોસ્પિટલથી થોડે આગળ ગુરુ રિફાઇનરી રોડ પર છે.
અચ્છા અચ્છા
તમારું?
અમે કાળવી બાગમાં
ઓકે.
અને મારી બેન ત્યાં કોટા અને મારી બેનનું સાસરું બધું છે બધું નિઝામપુરા બાજુ છે.
એટલે બધા તો બરોડા કામ તો બહુ
એ તો નાનું છે, બધા
એકબીજા
ઓળખી લે એકબીજાને.
હા યાર, ગુડ. બરોડા વાળો પક્ષપાત અમારે મેજોરિટી થઈ ગયા.
એકદમ બધા બરોડા મળી ગયા.
મેજોરિટી થઈ ગયા અમારી.
હા, પણ આમ તો તેજસ પણ બરોડા.
હા, આનંદ પણ બરોડા
વડોદરા છે. આનંદ જોવા બે વડોદરા.
Oh, I did not know that.
હા,
કાળવી બાગમાં બી ઓકે ચિરાયુ કોટા છે.
just joking. So Dada Bhagwan said it is a science. It's a science, holistic inner science, as well as science of my life living and universe as a whole. And in fact, the enlightened ones brought out the whole science, not only of the soul, but of all other things. And they were enlightened, or the full light of inner infinite knowledge, infinite perception power was fully opened out. Everything of the universe got reflected into that light, and that's how they could describe everything. But the basic intent of them was, let all human beings have happiness and peace, and let they have the ultimate truth of their own self, leading to the permanent bliss and ultimate liberation too.
એટલે કે છે સંભવામી યુગે યુગે.
Yeah. So Bhavami Yuge Yuge means in every Yug means few thousand years, maybe 2000, 2500 years or something like that. That's known as a Yug. So what happens is, when there is enlightened person, for a few hundred years the light is in a good, the understanding light prevails in a society or community in a good form.
Okay.
Then again there are covering layers over that light, and the essence of that understanding goes away. The people continue with the rituals or traditions, but not really knowing what does it lead to,
Right.
or what's the real essence of that. So again, after a few hundreds or thousands years, again in somebody the light again comes up in the form of enlightenment or fully manifest God form, and then again they become instrumental to show the light of understanding to the human beings at large.
Right. They say that it comes in 4 yugas, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, that's a different story. Satyug, Kaliyug, Dwapar,
Yeah.
and Treta, that's a bigger spells.
right.
But for example, Krishna came before 5,000 years. Then after 2,500, means 2,600 before Mahavir came. So then there was a spell of 2,600 years.
Right.
And again, the real understanding was lost. So again, now Dada Bhagwan is becoming instrumental to bring out the true understandings of the things like that. Those yugas are a very big space of time. So in one yuga, there may be many people who come
Okay.
as enlightened ones. So Rajalbin, વાત કરો ચાલો કઈ.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of get in that mood. એટલે હજુ I'm trying to think કે આપણે કયા ટોપિક પર ચર્ચા
ના એ તો એમની સાથે અમે
Right.
બિફોર યુ કેમ સી
Right.
ક્વેશ્ચન એટલે એ વાત મેં કરી એમની જોડે.
બરાબર.
આપણે તો કઈ પણ વાત કરી.
No, I was about to ask just your thought on reincarnation.
Yes, okay. Reincarnation is there. People most of the people do not believe or accept because they can't see with their intellect, but it is there.
Okay.
How it is there and how we can say that it must be there? Two perspectives. One, as I was discussing, if this is temporary, the knower has to be permanent. Otherwise, it can't know that this is temporary.
Right.
If the knower is permanent, means my true self is permanent, then it was before, it is, and it will remain.
Mhm.
So in science also, the science also accepts that element cannot be destroyed. It can be transformed. It
Yeah.
cannot be destroyed.
Right.
It cannot be zero.
Right.
So if my pure soul or pure conscious or anybody's pure conscious is an element, then it has to be permanent or eternal or exist forever. So that is one part, that this is getting transformed, but the pure soul as an element is permanent or eternal. So the outer forms just get transformed. That's one aspect of the thing. Second aspect is we see that from the childhood, even the plants, from the seeds, they get their characteristics. So our children also, even before they learn from outside, they have brought certain characteristics, right? Personality characteristics. So from where they got it? Parents are same. Not necessarily the two or more children are same. They may be diagonally opposite also.
Yeah.
So we have given them the same education. Nurturing is same, but they have brought their inherent personality traits. પ્રકૃતિ લાવ્યા છે લોકો કે એના ગુણો એ લાવ્યા છે. તો એ ગુણો ક્યાંથી આવ્યા? તો કે પ્રીવિયસ બિલીફ્સ. અચ્છા, આજે આપણે જે બધું અંદર ભેગું કરીએ છીએ, આપણી પ્રકૃતિ અથવા અંડરગોઈંગ એક જાતનું છે. મે બી આપણે અંદર જુદી જાતનું ડિઝાઇન ભાવાભાવ થઈ રહ્યા છે. એ પાછા ફળ આપશે. સીડ અને ફ્રૂટ કોઝ એન્ડ ઇફેક્ટ. આજની પ્રકૃતિમાં જો અમુક વસ્તુ લાવ્યો છું તેનું કોઝ ક્યાંક હોવું જોઈએ. અને આજે અંડરગોઈંગ એક લાઈફ અંદર મારે જુદા ભાવાભાવ થઈ રહ્યા છે, તો એની પાછી ઇફેક્ટ આવવી જોઈએ. સો દેટ ઇઝ હાઉ વી કેન એક્સપ્લેન ઓર અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ કે હા છે. બાકી તો છે જો રીઇન્કાર્નેશન છે. અને રીઇન્કાર્નેશનમાં શું છે કે આ બોડી અત્યારે જે મારું છે, you understand? So
Yeah, I can
I'll switch
follow.
over to English or a mix of English and Hindi. So what I said, you got my 2 points?
Yeah.
Okay, how we are permanent.
Yeah.
And if we are permanent, we were there, we are here, and we will be there as in the form of pure self. And second thing, even our children from the younger age, we teach the same thing. Or even before we teach them, they have their certain inherent characteristics they have brought.
Right.
So if this is effect or prakriti, where are the causes? Right? So prakriti is effect. प्रकृति का एक अर्थ होता है प्रकृति, विशेष भाव से की हुई कृति. किसने की? आत्मा ने जो बिलीफ के साथ जो जुड़ा, तो वह विशेष भाव से ही फॉर्म प्रकृति पूरी. तो उसके कॉजेस है, तो ये इफेक्ट है. और आज जो हम अंदर कॉजेस करें, उसका इफेक्ट कहीं पर आना चाहिए. सो दीज वर द 2 थिंग्स. અને रीइंकार्नेशन में ખરેખર શું થાય, क्या होता है सच में, तो कि दिस ह्यूमन बॉडी is a full science, not only anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, or medicine, what we have learned, but it's a science beyond that. So what is that science? So it says there are 3 bodies into that. One is gross body, which we doctors dissect to the electron microscopic levels, RNA, DNA, whatever. Because they can be seen in photograph, is put under gross body. Another is energy body, vitality body, or aura body. And we measure is electrocardiogram, electromyogram, electroencephalogram. So there are energy, electrical voltages is one aspect. Second is because of that energy, that's responsible for functioning of this body, inner energy body. Some people measure its aura body or aura photography. Then the yogis were seeing as chakras, and I was skeptical about whether really there would be any chakras or energy centers. But when I read about the GDV Express and GDV compact cameras taking the photograph of energies or aura energy, I could correlate to, oh, they are existing there because they could photograph them. And to the extent that they photograph that, first the disease comes in the inner energy body, then it comes outside. Even before few months, person getting cancer, before few months the energy body is deranged. So it's a derangement of the energy body which ultimately comes as the disease of the gross body. So second is the energy body or the vitality body. Third is the causal body. Now the causal body is not seen by present scientific tools or by us, but the enlightened ones can see the causal body. So this is so subtle body. And fourth is the pure self itself. So pure self has its presence only. It is inexhaustible, indestructible, but because of its presence, all these 3 bodies are functioning. So what happens at the time of death? The gross body's timings and atoms and molecular function gets over. It's like a battery getting discharged. So once that battery is getting discharged, mind, body, speech, this is shed off. It dibba or engine alag ho gaya. So on the other side, in the presence of pure soul, as long as I have generated new causal body, it's also atomic and molecular in configuration, but very subtle ones. So as long as there is causal body, the electrical body gets generated, and there are elements in the nature. There are 6 basic elements. One is the pure conscious, another is the matter, having form, shape, smell, taste. The third is element of motion, which helps the object to move. Fourth is element of inertia, which helps the object to steady down. Fifth is time, and sixth is space. These are the 6 basic elements considered by the enlightened ones. So when this is shed off, its function is over, batteries are discharged, the element of motion, according to the coding of causal body, takes wherever it is matching. So it enters the new body, and the gross body's atoms and molecules are formed. So this is how it goes off. એટલે છે પુનર્જન્મ છે, નાખું વિજ્ઞાન છે, પણ બીકોઝ આજની બુદ્ધિ માને નહીં અને એની જરૂર નથી બહુ, આપણા જીવનમાં એની બહુ જરૂર પડતી નથી, એટલે we don't discuss it much more. પણ છે ખરું.
So નાનપણમાં when we were told કે આવું કરીશ તો next જન્મમાં કૂતરો થઈશ કે બિલાડી થઈશ કે whatever, that is not true, right? So
No,
if you're human, you always born as a human because you take your and ગયા જન્મનું તમે આ જન્મમાં account, you carry on your account basically. So you're carrying on your account as a human, so you will be as a human, you will not be born as an animal in any of your janam because you are born with that prakriti. તો
No, I
પ્રકૃતિ
understand.
તમારી હ્યુમનની જ રહેવાની છે. Like bird when it weaves a nest is not told how to weave a nest. It's born because the birds are born as birds. So how, is this true for humans too?
No, it is partly true. Once the soul comes into the womb of a human mother, the rest of the things will work as human.
Right.
But there is another part also. It is partly not true. Which way or what is the other part? See, suppose in this human body, there are two parts. One is discharge or effect, which I am undergoing from birth to death. My mind, speech, body are giving me the effects from whatever I have brought with me. At the same time, new causal body is getting generated. Depending on my present, throughout my life, what I am inviting is my bhav karmas. And while inviting those bhav karmas, I'll give one gross example, then I'll give you more examples. Suppose I'm a doctor. Now, when I passed my qualifying examination, I was getting admission everywhere because I was second in the university. Even IIT, I could. They had 2 seats for first rankers. So I would have got in IIT. I would have got everywhere.
Right.
And my parents wanted me not to do medicine. They said it's a very lengthy course. You also will have a tension, and we don't have money too. But something from within drove me to become a doctor. Not hearing even my parents. So what was that? So that was my previous bhav, which drove me to become a doctor right now. Because previously I must have decided or done that sort of bhavs. Now if you ask me today, my bhav may have been changed. That okay, my brother is chartered accountant, he has much less tension, he earns much more than me, and he can hire 4 doctors like me to do the charity. So my present inside, my design may have been changed. So in future, I may not be doctor when these vows fructify. This is a gross simile I am giving you. Now what happens throughout the life, that I will tell you. See, throughout the life, inside, there are 4 types of different attitudes the person may have. One is the human attitude. If nobody is disturbing you, you don't disturb others or unnecessarily. You use only which is lawfully yours. Don't try or use or acquire unlawful things, unlawful wealth, unlawful sensual pleasures or whatever. So as long as I'm not having the attitude of using unlawful things or unrighteous things, I can have human attitudes and not disturbing unnecessarily others. So then I can, if this is the preponderance of my inner attitudes, I can aspire to have the human form. Then there are other people who are superhuman. Even if somebody has disturbed me, I'll forget that and help him or her. Human form, I'll not do that. If he has harm, I'll not help him. That's as long as, but I'll not unnecessarily harm. But in a superhuman, if somebody has disturbed me, still I'll forgive and help. So that's a higher up. So they acquire the inner causal body higher up than the human form. Then there are animal-like peoples. Those who are ready to acquire anything, lawfully, unlawfully, they should get a chance. भाई किसी का मिला ले लो, किसी का लिया भुगत लो. So they are known as the animal attitudes, animal-like attitudes. So they acquire inner causal body atoms and molecules which are below humans or more fit for the animal-like attitudes. And then there are hellish attitudes. મારું નામ લીધું 7 પેઢી, I'll destroy your 7 generations. You confronted me. So highly egoistic. The people are fighting for nothing. We just wonder why they are fighting. And there is mass destruction. So they are hellish attitudes. So inside the person may have human attitudes, superhuman attitudes, animal-like attitudes or hellish attitudes. Based on that, the causal body acquires the different types of atoms and molecules. So now, when he is living, based on what he has accumulated as a causal body, if he has accumulated the atoms and molecules of more suitable to human attitudes, that soul will be put into the human mother's womb. If he has more of animal attitudes, that soul with a causal body goes into the womb of the animal mother, and then everything as an animal comes out. So from one humans are the privileged as well as responsible also. Privileged and responsible which way? Privileged means human form has both the inner scientific mechanisms of charge and discharge both. While discharging, they can invite new charges also, and so they are that way they have that liberty or power. But responsibility is also that when I'm charging new within, I'm responsible to charge. So swastik symbolizes what? It symbolizes 4 different types of movements from here: human, deities, when I have superhuman attitudes, animals, or hellish. And 5th is half lunar sign, that is the liberation. So from human, person can go to either of the 4 of the yonis, and also to the liberation. So that is how the human form has been given importance, privilege as well as responsibility both. Right? So human becomes human in our maternity homes. But subtly, this soul can go to any of the 4 or 5th also, depending on what inside is going on. And inside is not known to others. It's known to one's own self only.
Right.
Person looking good outside may be having different attitudes inside. One never knows. Either way.
Right.
Person looking negative from outside may have the positive attitudes inside. Person looking positive or good from outside may have the negative attitudes from inside. Either way. And that depends on the current understanding plus awareness what one exercises or what one may not exercise inside. In present times, it is said that most of the people from within are sleeping down. Means it's a
Right.
sleepage time. Outside, they may not be committing crimes or faults, but inside the attitudes are like that. That okay, if available, I will enjoy this and that, whether lawfully mine or not. Especially for wealth and sensual pleasures, 2
Right.
things. This is how it is a science. It's a full science. But in primarily, we want to know what can make my life happy, harmonious, positive, meaningful, what's in my realm and what's not, and who am I. That's more than adequate for me to have my life aim successful.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Is destiny determined in your teachings, or what is the role of willpower if destiny is already?
Very good question. Very big question you have asked. Wonderful. So, what is destiny? First tell me, what do you understand by destiny?
Like, they say, right, in astrology and all those things, in this time, it will be bad for you. That time is good for you. You will go through certain challenges. You would have certain successes. That kind of a thing. I'm just saying.
I understood.
Yeah. So, is
But-
it set in stone? Is it determined? Like, if a person is born, right? They're destined to do. They're destined to go through a certain path in life, and that's how they end their life, right? Or by willpower, can they change what is destined for them? What is your thinking on that?
No, sure, I'll tell, but I just wanted to first get from you what's your perception of destiny. So,
Alright.
do you think that destiny means outcome is pre-decided?
Not
जो
always,
होना
but
होगा
some-
वही होएगा ऐसा मानते हैं आप?
not always, but sometimes it feels like it.
No. आप क्या मानते हैं? डेस्टिनी मीन्स प्री डिसाइडेड आउटकम है कि और कुछ है?
I'm unable to come to a conclusion. on
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's not your fault. It's a very gray area for the people because unless some enlightened ones come, this mystery cannot be resolved. It's a mystery of human life. So I say it's secret of secrets. Rhonda Byron wrote a book, Secrets.
Mhm.
But these enlightened ones bring out the secret of secrets. Means what is really what you are asking is really mystery as long as we don't understand it. As long as the light is not thrown into that.
Okay.
So let me explain both the things. That Yesterday I was discussing with him also. We can again elaborate into that. So what you are asking is what is in my realm, what all can I do independently, and what all can I not do independently. Is that make sense? What is in my power?
Yeah, what is in my power to change?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What all can I do independently? That's what is in my realm or what is in my powers and what's not in my powers. That's a basic question from where we can start and then come to the detailed answer of what you are asking about it, right?
Right.
So, right, very correct. But first and foremost is if everything is destined, can I drive the मारोगे ध्यान नहीं दोगे तो भी नहीं होगा और होना है तो कुछ भी करोगे तो होगा. It's not like that. If it is that, nobody should go to the doctor. ठीक होना है तो ऐसे भी हो जाएंगे, ठीक नहीं होना होगा तो डॉक्टर के पास जाएंगे तो भी नहीं होगा. So it doesn't mean that way. That's primarily. Now let's understand the science. All these circumstantial evidences come in a harmonious sequence. The task cannot be completed. Am I right?
Yeah.
So are all these circumstances in my independent control?
Not really.
Not really. So in the part of happenings, see Kalpana Chawla's spaceship, thousands and thousands were things correct, but a thermocouple evidence was not correct, so everything crashed. So in this life, the things which are happening because of circumstances, in each happening, so many circumstances, gross to subtle, past, present, and future, they are interconnected. Who brought us together here? I don't know you directly, you are not knowing me directly. So which all circumstances came together and why and how? Why and how will come to later on. But is this clear? That everything needs so many circumstantial evidences for the things to happen. Right? So, and it is also clear that there is nobody who can have the independent control or command over all the circumstantial evidences. So enlightened ones say that in the part of happening, it happens. And it happens based on the circumstantial evidences which come together scientifically. So scientific circumstantial evidences are responsible for the happenings. I am doer, but I am not independent doer in this sequence of happenings. I am instrumental doer. Because the things are not in totally in my independent control in the part of happenings. You get me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is about the happenings. What about my mind? Am I independent about my mind? Do I have the total control over my mind?
Yeah.
Yes? No? Okay. Think yes or no?
Yes.
Yes? And when mom or dad doesn't allow you to go for playing and your mind starts bubbling, then what happens? Can you control that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you are a white boy. So are we independent about our mind?
No.
No. Sometimes it goes weird and we want to stop it, but we can't stop it. Unfortunately, manufacturers forgot to put the pause and stop switch in the mind. दूसरे सब में है pause और stop, mind में नहीं है. अच्छा, am I independent about my speech? Total control?
No.
No, he knows. It's not total control. You're right, beta. Sometimes something comes out and we feel that I should not have spoken like this. So are we independent of our body?
No.
If we would have been, there would have been no doctors' clinics, no hospitals like us. So enlightened ones say that life has two parts. One is the part of effect, discharge, or fruits, which includes my gross mind, speech, body, inner happenings, inner circumstantial things, outer circumstantial things, and the nature and natural regulatory system. This is a part where I am not independent totally. I am doer. I am main doer, main evidence, but not the independent one. You get me?
Okay.
So, in this part of happenings, there are so many things which come together. So I should do my best according to best of my understanding, care, caution, abilities, whatever. But ultimately what happens is decided by the grand scheme of Mother Nature. So after the result is there, I should know and realize and say that whatever is happened is correct because it is the natural regulatory system working through the scientific circumstantial evidences. Acha. That is second part. Then I'll ask the enlightened one that where is my free will? Here, if I am dependent on the circumstantial evidences, show me the area of my independence. So there is an area of our independence which we are not aware of it so far. So long as we don't know it. So what is that area of independence? So while passing through the circumstances, we always incur inner bhava or inner projections or inner hearty desires, whatever you say. With 10 people are sitting here, when we disperse, everybody will have different inner bhavs, right? Somebody will have bhav, oh, I should know and experience this. Somebody will have say that they just called, so we had to go, but it's not worthwhile. So inside we will have different, right? Husband will have different, wife will have different, everybody will have different. So where we sign, it should be or should not be, ought to be or ought not to be, that is a seed or cause for the new effect. And there I am independent because it is not dependent on circumstances, it is dependent on my understanding. Okay, I'll put it other way also, so you will get it more idea. Okay. Suppose some good work is being done and Rajan and Tejas comes that, okay, will you contribute something? So somebody will say $101, somebody $501, somebody $1,000, whatever it is. And then they come to me, so I say $501. So they know, okay, Dr. Saab cannot be left in only $501. So मेरा चा नाश्ता करते 11,000 का चेक लेके गए. Then he comes and says, Dr. Saab, आपने तो 11,000 दिया, अच्छा किया, लोगों ने पीछे लिखा है आपके. तो मैं क्या बोलूँगा, भाई इतना देना नहीं था, बहुत प्रेशर किया इसलिए देना पड़ा. So action and bhav may be different. Right. So that bhav, if I have the negative, if I have signed negative कि इतना देना नहीं था, देना पड़ा, तो next time my prakriti will not allow me to give. बोलते मुट्ठी बंद है, दूंगा दूंगा बोलते पर दे नहीं सकता है. But the other fellow says कि I had no funds right now, but होता तो ज्यादा देता. So he has done the positive bhav. So similarly, this inner bhava bhavs continuously होते रहते हैं. We continuously incur the inner bhava bhavs where we can change it based on our understanding and awareness. Before it gets consolidated, it goes to nature. So that is my area of independence. It is known as bhava satta, or English may probably we can say power of inner projections or inner hearty decisions, right? Now, how that work with the nature? This inner independence or inner relative free will, I would say, not real free will, relative free will. Okay. How would it work through the nature? Suppose ये मेल लोग होते हैं तो एक भाव किया कि एक वाइफ चाहिए, somebody says beautiful होनी चाहिए, somebody says educated होनी चाहिए, somebody says father-in-law should be rich so that we are having less burden. So that chord words भाव कर दिए मैंने, आपने हस्बैंड के लिए भाव कर दिए, वो नेचर में गए. नेचर सेज वेट, टाइम इज नॉट राइप. जब टाइम होगा तब सब एविडेंसेस मिलेंगे. फिर 25 लड़कियां देखते हैं, 25 लड़के देखते हैं, फिर एक को पसंद किया तो लोग बोलते इससे तो बहुत अच्छी अच्छी दिखाई थी तुमको. बोले पर आपको कहाँ मालूम है मेरा कोड कहाँ मैचिंग होता था भाव. सो जब वो नेचर रिजल्ट देती है भाव के हिसाब से, तब अकेली वाइफ या अकेले हस्बैंड नहीं देते हैं, फादर इन लॉ, ब्रदर इन लॉ, मदर इन लॉ, सब कुछ देना पड़ता है. सो भाव तो एक ही किया था. सो when they are fructified or fulfilled through the nature, all associated circumstances are given. You get me? Mm-hmm. Acha, something more than that. What happens scientifically? Jab I sign the vow of helping others or hurting others, whatever, teaching a lesson, the outside atoms and molecules get drawn in. Outside they are pure and neutral. When they are drawn in the presence of pure soul, they are painted or charged with my vows, helping others or teaching the lesson or whatever it may be. So all these conglomerates of atoms and molecules form the causal body throughout the life. And that gets connected to the nature. Nature at appropriate time gives the results. When the nature is giving results, that's a part of happening based on so many scientific circumstantial evidences. I'm not independent. But when I'm doing the bhav, I'm independent. That's really my free will, relative free will. As long as I'm Shailesh, My relative free will is my inner bhav satta or bhav power. Hope it is clear to you. Now, what is destiny? Destiny is not pre-decided outcome. Destiny is one of the factors. What in the part of happenings, there are so many factors: place, time, instruments which are responsible or means for that particular happenings, past, future, purushartha. So destiny is like a flow of a river. The river is flowing. So you can say the flow looks like this. But then somebody will put a dam there, somebody will put an obstruction and will modify the flow. So destiny is one of the factors in the chain of all the scientific circumstantial evidences. Destiny does not say pre-decided outcome. Now you got my point? So in the part of happenings, I cannot say the outcome is decided. It's the sum total of all the circumstantial evidences put together. So I have to drive my car with open eyes, with all alertness. Then if something happens, I say, okay, it is in the scheme of Mother Nature that this happened. If somebody is sick, I cannot say it is destiny. I have to find out the best doctor. I have to do everything to best of my abilities. And then whatever is the outcome is according to the grand scheme of Mother Nature. And inside I have the relative free will. Now, knowing that I have the relative free will, what vows or how should I use that free will? Tell me. Now you know that you have the power to check this, sign these checks. How would you sign the checks of life? What would you want for yourself?
With positivity, right?
Huh?
She said with positivity.
Positivity, okay, that's perfectly fine. But what should be our inner vows like, so that our life becomes effortlessly meaningful or our goals are achieved? For that, we should understand what is the purpose of life, what should be the goals of life, right? So what should it be? Simple. So enlightened ones simplify the goals in two categories. For the relative interconnected living, first our bhav is, let my mind, speech and body offer happiness and help to others. Let my mind, speech and body not hurt others.
Right.
For the real or permanent one, I want to know who am I? What's my true self? What is my eternal or permanent self? Once I know that, my journey to bliss starts. My journey to, and that after I know who am I, my real free will starts. And that real free will is free of everything, time, space, everything. Why I said relative free will as long as I am Shailesh? Because whatever bhav I am doing, again has some influence of circumstances, some influence of my sanskar. So it's not totally free will.
Right.
But it is a relative free will. But once I know who am I, फिर काल कर्म माया सबसे मुक्त हो सकते हैं. That is the real free will because that's my nature itself. Shuddhatma, pure soul, is my nature itself. So from there on, the real free will starts. Clear? So we talked about destiny, we talked about happenings based on scientific circumstantial evidences where I am not the independent doer but the instrumental doer. In the relative free will, as long as I am Shailesh. Your name is Anita, right? So as long as you have believed that I am Anita, the second belief is associated that I am doer. Whether you speak or don't speak, whether you express or don't, but that's inherently there as long as I have the belief that I am Shailesh or I have the belief that I am doer. Till that, the relative free will is my inner bhav satta.
Right.
And once I know that I am pure soul, free from mind, speak, body, name and name belonging attachments, this is my relative identity, my real identity is pure soul self, then my real free will starts, that is swabhava satta. My swabhava, true nature.
Okay.
Right? So this is for the first time that this clear-cut demarcation. So prarabdha is not the decided outcome. Prarabdha means a part of dependency. So in part of happenings, because I am dependent on circumstances, it is known as prarabdha. And purusharth, relative purusharth is bhav satta, and real purusharth once I know who am I. Right?
Okay.
That is what Krishna told to Arjuna. That as long as you are in a trigunatmak prakriti, you are not really in Purushartha. Once you get free of the trigunatmak prakriti, Purush means Atma, not by body form. Body form may be female or male. Purush means Atma. Then you will be in a real Purusha. बरोबर છે?
I can get on.
So,
Please.
I have two questions. One,
Yeah.
one about living and one about death.
Yeah, sure.
So, as far as death is concerned, everyone has fear of death,
Yes.
and it's, from what I understand, it's because of two things. One is the fear of unknown, what's on the other side.
Mhm.
That I can understand, but the other is people go through a lot of pain
Yes.
before death,
Mhm. Mhm.
and there's fear of pain,
Yes, suffering.
suffering.
Yeah.
So the question is, why do we suffer before death? Why is there pain before death?
Okay. So, in a normal parlance for the world, the existence is I'm Shailesh. So I is sitting with the body self only. I'm Shailesh means I'm mind body speech. My I is attached with the mind body and speech, right? So mind body speech going away gives me a fear that oh I am dying. He says I am dying. I will die. What they say I will die. Right? So that is the fear that because he doesn't know the true self, which is eternal, he doesn't have that conviction, he doesn't have that experience. So he feels I am dying. That's first the fear about the fear of death, as you have said. That oh, my existence will not be there, he feels. So that is the fear of death. That is one thing. Sufferings you are asking, that's the second part. So sufferings, yes, why do we suffer? So there are two aspects to that thing. One aspect is by its very nature. See, sometimes somebody asked me a question that you say that good and bad karmas, but so many saintly people, great souls, evolved, we say, ઋષિ મોટા માણસો રમણ મહર્ષિ હતા કે બીજા સંત પુરુષો, we feel they are great saintly people. Why they suffered? They also, somebody had cancer, somebody had different stories. So I had never thought on that question, but it came from within. That suppose you bring the wonderful fruits from here, cherries or whatever, and you preserve, deep freeze and everything, what happens ultimately to that? Fruits or whatever vegetables you have brought, and they were of the best quality and you preserved also, what happens ultimately to them?
Deteriorates.
Why? It's the very nature of that thing to get decayed or deteriorate ultimately. It is the very nature of vegetables or fruits to ultimately get decayed over a period of time, right? Similarly, the enlightened ones wanted us to know only this same truth. Whatever you do, this mind, speech, and body will give you pain some or other moment. Because you not knowing your true self, you have attached to them. This is your relative self, and not knowing the true self, you are entangled into that. And this by very nature has the nature of giving you obstacles and pain some or other time. If you take care for the whole life, but sometimes you have to go to the dentist because it gives pain. Why should it give pain? It's the very nature, right? So that is how. And second thing, see, all the karmic atoms and molecules, they are compartmentalized as they do in the computer. There is a files and folders are of similarity are put at one place and different. So the pleasurable atoms and molecules, they give effect mostly during childhood and young adulthood and something. Enjoy and eat, drink and be merry. The atoms and molecules which are there to give us pains, mostly they are associated in the old age and during the death time. This is the normal common situation. But it is not universal for everybody. You must have seen so many people dying quietly, not really suffering, sitting here and walking and talking, and just goes away. No real sufferings. or somebody, even if know that the death. See, my mom's mother, she knew, so she told that you go, you all sleep. When this lamp is out, means वो जब बुझ जाएगा पाना 2-3 घंटे के बाद, she knew I am going to go away. Knowingly also they pass very quietly. So what's that which is making this difference? So there are two things, as I understand. As a doctor, have seen so many people having this vision, who are very peaceful and blissful even within critical illnesses and even during the death time. Why? Because they know that I am not dying, I am the immortal, eternal, pure soul self. It's the body which is getting changed. So at the plane of beliefs or conviction, they do not feel that I am going to die. They have the conviction that I am pure soul self, free of birth and death cycles. They have that experience inside. So that is one part which will allow you to pass very peacefully through those phases. Second part, the body may have some suffering based on what's the atoms and molecules which are going to be effective at that time. You got my point? And there is nobody who can say that body will not suffer, because body has the tendency of pains or sufferings at some, but the degree may vary. Somebody may not have much suffering, somebody will have. But inside, by having this, some knowledge of this sort, you can pass peacefully through such phases. And beyond that, the enlightened ones want us to suggest that if you know your pure soul self, you be with that, you will be at one stage, be able to get free of these birth and death cycles. That's the ultimate aim of the human form. How long we are going to go into revolving into birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. So aim at this something which allows us to get freed from all this forever. As long as this is there, we say it is a body, they say it is a jail of karmic atoms and molecules. So that's the ultimate state, nirvana, when you get free from the cycles of birth and death. Am I clear on your question? Or still something more is wanted?
Still, I don't understand why we go through pain. That's
that is what I say, why you go through pain. There are two aspects. One, mind, body and speech, especially body. At one or some other stage, it will give you pain. Because body is not immortal. It is going to go to decay stage. And before death, one or other derangement has to come as a scientific circumstantial evidences, otherwise body will not be shed off. So all those things where the organs start failing, your inner energy starts failing before death. So somebody has a less suffering, somebody has a more suffering, somebody goes without suffering. As I say, we can say that. So it is very, body is very nature. That's what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to see. Vegetables or fruits, by very nature they get decay. Similarly, the body has a very nature, mind, body, speech, especially body, that at one or other stage it may give you pain. It's only the pure soul which is free of sufferings. The body is not free of sufferings by very nature. By very nature, only the pure self is free of sufferings. It's knower and seer of the suffering, not the sufferer. But unless I have that experience, I will not be able to feel that I'm free of sufferings. It's the very nature of body. No matter how best you care for your body, at some or other stage there will be backache, some or other stage there will be osteoarthritis, some degeneration somewhere. It's by very nature. And ultimately, what is the function of body? We say it's for enjoyment. The enlightened ones say the body is here to achieve your ultimate purpose of knowing your pure self and getting free of all these juggleries. कर्मास में से मुक्त होने के लिए शरीर है. Use your body for attaining the ultimate purpose.
Is that the purpose of life? Is that the purpose of life? Purpose
of life is twofold. One purpose of life, ultimate purpose of life, is to get free of all the bondages and sufferings arising due to atoms and molecules, which we term as karmic bonds. But in the scientific terms, the pure conscious is entangled with the matter, having form, shape, smell, taste. As the two have come together, the third extra special properties have come in the form of I am there, I am doer, anger, greed, pride, deceit, अटैचमेंट एंड एवर्जन. ये जो 6 चीजें हैं वो शुद्ध आत्मा के भी गुण नहीं है, प्रकृति के भी गुण नहीं, दोनों समीप आने से खड़े हुए हैं. एंड एज लॉन्ग एज आई हैव नॉट एक्वायर्ड द करेक्ट बिलीफ, तो मैं शैलेश में कर रहा हूँ तो चार्ज डिस्चार्ज चल रहा है. सो ह्यूमन फॉर्म का अल्टीमेट एम है कि ये सब बंधनों में से मैं मुक्त हो जाऊं और आई अटेन माई अल्टीमेट फॉर्म ऑफ इनफाइनाइट नोइंग पावर, इनफाइनाइट सीइंग पावर एंड इनफाइनाइट ब्लिस. मेरे खुद का स्वरूप मुझे पूर्ण रूप से अनुभव में आ जाए, और वो शुद्धात्मा का पूर्ण अनुभव वही मुक्ति है. मुक्ति तो शुद्धात्मा का उसका नेचर है, बाय नेचर शुद्धात्मा मुक्त है, बट आई हैव टू रियलाइज इट, आई हैव टू गेट फुल्ली मैनिफेस्टेड फॉर इट. तो उसका पूर्ण निरावरण होना चाहिए, वो अल्टीमेट एम है. और वहां तक जो एम है रिलेटिवली मैंने बताया कि मुझे सुखी होना है, तो मेरे मन वचन काय से किसी को सुख होगा तो मेरे पास सुख रहेगा.
So your question is why does anybody get pain, or why does some people get more pain and other people don't?
No,
get pain?
why we suffer is
why
his
do we suffer?
question.
Why do we suffer?
Anybody, why anybody suffers? That is his question. And little on a lighter note, I am a doctor. I know body science. Still, I have pain right now, and I know it is paining. Why it is paining? That also I know. That because of long sitting, because of awkward postures, because of body metabolism getting changed. वो जो होता है तो I do have a little sciatic pain right now. Even though I know it, but I know I am Shuddhatma. This is that, so I'm not afraid of it. It doesn't bother me that much, but I know that it is there. So body passes through so many situations, and all the situations are not in anyone's control, as I said. मैं यहाँ आता हूँ तो इतने घंटे की प्लेन की जर्नी करनी पड़ती है, so my prime motive doesn't allow my body to be taken care all the time. So ठीक है वो. So suffering is very nature of it's inherent in the body at one or other time.
But is that all karma for ne lidhe pan thata?
हाँ, that is okay. कर्म फल, that is what I said कि some many people वो बात करते करते चले जाते हैं, सफरिंग ही नहीं होता है, और कोई किसी को बहुत ज्यादा सफरिंग होता है. So that is depending on atomic or molecular configuration. Basically it gives two type of effects, pleasurable or painful, comfortable and uncomfortable. दोनों में से एक सिचुएशन में होता है आदमी हर समय पे. So we enjoy the comfortable, pleasurable one, but pain वाला हमें पसंद नहीं होता. But nothing is singular. एक सिक्के की दो बाजू होती है, अकेला प्लेजरेबल तो ऑल थ्रू आउट नहीं होता है. प्लेजर एंड पेन, हैप्पीनेस एंड अनहैप्पीनेस, जॉय एंड सॉरो, कंफर्टेबल एंड अनकंफर्टेबल. एंड अल्टीमेटली यस, इट इज एन एटॉमिक एंड कर्मिक. जो कर्म क्या है, आखिर में कर्म है क्या? कर्म 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 तो हम करते हैं.
What you're doing is karma, right?
What I'm doing is karma means एक्टिविटी को कर्म बोलते हैं.
No, your action is karma, right?
हाँ ना, मतलब योर एक्शन इज कर्म,
Right.
बट विच कर्म? यदि एक्शन मेरा कर्म है तो उसके ऊपर मेरी अधिकार स्वतंत्रता होनी चाहिए कि नहीं होनी चाहिए?
You understand that? It's
Not quite.
yeah. English में बोलो ना.
Yeah, if activity is my karma, and
Right.
Krishna said karmanyevadhikarasti, you have the independence, right to do karmas. So does that mean that I am independent for my activities or actions?
No, you said that it's also determined by
Yeah,
circumstances.
scientific circumstances. So activities are actually fruits or effects or discharge of bhav karmas. Karmas has two forms, seeds and fruit, cause and effect. So actions fall in the part of effect. You get my point? Effect of my previous bhavs. So I'm doing that sort of activity. So it falls into the effect of karma phal or karma effect. The real karmas are inside in the form of seeds, bhav karma.
Right.
So karma has two parts, bhav karma and dravya karma, or charging karma and discharging karma. So karmas are actually atoms and molecules, or the element which we say is matter, which has roop, ras, sparsh, gandh. So pure conscious is one element, the matter is another element, having roop, ras, sparsh, gandh, means form, shape, taste, smell, touch, etc. As the two have come together, the third extra special properties have come up as I am and doer. So in the presence of pure soul, these atoms and molecules get charged. And what is charged has to be discharged. So this charge and discharge processes, it's a part of karma. They are the subtlest to grossest. Atoms and molecules accumulate. And this body, speech and mind, they are formed of atoms and molecules. The body is formed by the grossest forms, atoms and molecules, karmas. The speech is gross subtle, and the inner self, mind, intellect, reflective consciousness, and ego, they are formed of the subtle karmas or subtle atoms and molecules. So this is how the karmas function. Again, only the karmas do not give us suffering. Do you believe that only karmas give us suffering? Or only karmas has to be born, or you cannot get rid of the effect of karmas? Do you believe like that? Puzzle? लोग बोलते हैं कर्म भुगतने पड़ते हैं. So what is your take on to that? So karmas will give you the circumstantial situations. It cannot decide your inner suffering. The inner suffering depends on your vision of looking at that situation, your inner state, how you are looking at that situation. For example, I have adverse ties with him. So he may insult me, he may behave badly, he may do something not liked by me. If I am ignorant, I will suffer a lot with him. If I have this understanding, I'll see that, okay, he has tried to not behave, but okay, I'll be happy inside that I'm thankful to him because he gave me the opportunity to look within, introspect and improve. He is a postman or instrument of the nature, and he helped me to get relieved of my karmic bonds. So I'll pass through positively from that. So if I have correct understanding inside, most of the times I will not suffer from within. Right? So karmas will give me situation, but it depends on my inner vision or understanding. If it is incorrect, there will be a lot of inner suffering. If it is correct, I will not suffer from within, but I'll gain from within. So karmas only are not responsible for suffering. The inner thing depends on my understanding and how I look at the things. And most of the things can be rectified also from within. One by way of understanding, second by way of, I'll give another example. One of our satsangi underwent a major surgery. Now you imagine that person undergoing major surgery, staying in the hospital for 5-7 days, will have inner suffering apart from body suffering or not. Now for her, the inner suffering was not there. The body was going through whatever medical. Inside, he changed his attention to different things. From morning to evening, satsang, arti, vidhi, pad, positive, mahatma, satsang is coming, and her inner attention was diverted to something else. So when she was discharged from the hospital, she said, inside I had a very good experience, better than what I had at home. Because whole attention was diverted from that body to the positive. She occupied herself into positive from morning to evening. You got my point?
Yeah, I got it.
So there are n number of ways to not to suffer from within or to gain out of that situation. And ultimately, if I am the pure soul self, I try to just remain as knower and seer. And when the body suffering is there, I utilize the property of my inner self that I am free of these sufferings. I am just the knower and seer of the sufferings. My true form can never ever suffer the pains or pleasures. So these two distinct characteristics of the sufferer and the true self as non-sufferer, I try to take help of that so that my pure conscious remains on that part, helping me to pass through the phase as much as possible, remaining in my true self-awareness. And the last and but not the least, unless this gives us the pain, will not be forced to go to our true self. Is that not true? Because there are puzzles in this part of mind, speech, and body, we look to the puzzle-free part, which is our true self. If there are no puzzles here, why should I look to my true self? Everything is rosy here. But it doesn't happen so. So the enlightened ones summarize the situation in 4 lines. 1, so Lord, this is the slogan of Lord Mahavir, and I'll simplify it. That Dada Bhagwan also says the same thing. Ego me shasoppa, only my soul, my true self, my pure self is eternal. How can I recognize that? Gnana Dansanam Sanju, it is the characteristic of Gnana and Darshan means knowing power and seeing power, infinite knowledge light and infinite perception light. What is rest all these things? So he says, Shesha me Bahira Bhava. This is Ardhamarti of that particular type, but Shesha means rest all is external to me. How can I identify what is external to me? Savve Sanjog Lakhana, all that is circumstantial, having beginning and end, or what we termed as my or mine. It is not within me, it is outside me. Sanjog Mula Jivena Patta Dukham Parampara. Because I believed the circumstances as my or mine, with a conviction, it led me to the series of sufferings. Tamma Sanjog Sambandham Savam Tivedam Vasaryam means my belief of I and mineness, my conviction which was there in the circumstantial things, I surrender to your lotus feet so that I can remain, that I am free from all the circumstances and I am the pure soul, having the infinite knowing power and infinite seeing power. So they separated 2 things. There are only 2 things, self and circumstances. Circumstances inner and outer. Inner in the form of mind, speech, body, outer in the form of happenings, other happenings. So there are only 2 things, self and circumstances. And in between the two, you have the vision, belief or understanding. If your vision, belief or understanding is incorrect, that will give you the suffering or adverse things. If your vision, belief or understanding gets correct, it frees you from the sufferings of circumstantial things. Now one more thing. Why to go to body suffering? Let's come to the other parts. There are 2 groups of circumstances. One you like, one you don't like, right? One you enjoy, one you don't enjoy. Now the enjoyable circumstances, they give you pain when they go away. You are enjoying a nice house, you are enjoying a nice job. When, for some or other reason, when that goes away, you will have a pain. Tejas is your very good friend. You feel happy when as long as he is with you. When he goes away, you feel that, oh, I am alone now. So the circumstances liked by us, they give us some suffering when they go away or when they are dissociated. Husband, wife, they are living nicely. For some reason, if they are dissociated or one goes away or one passes away, there's tremendous pain. So the circumstances which are enjoyable give us the suffering when they part away. The circumstances which we don't like, they give pain when they come to us. So both the circumstances may give us pain or suffering because of our incorrect understanding of believing as my or mine. So the enlightened ones remain in their pure self as a knower and seer. The relative part can enjoy circumstances, but knowing that it is not permanent. That's the ultimate vision of enlightened ones. I hope I have not gone too high. એટલે છેલ્લી વાત આવી કે છે વિતરાગો. એટલે બોડી સફરિંગ તો છેલ્લી વાત છે. બોડી સફરિંગ પહેલા ઘણું બધું હોય છે, મનના લેવલ પર, અંતસ્કરણના લેવલ પર બધું ઘણું હોય છે. આપણને કોઈના માટે નેગેટિવ ઓપિનિયન પડ્યો હોય કે આ તો નકામો જ છે, કાયમ આવું જ કરે છે, તેની વાત નીકળે તો એ સફરિંગ થાય કે ના થાય આપણને. તો એ તો છે નહીં હાજર આપણી પાસે. my own negative opinion bites me, bugs me out. અને કોઈના માટે પોઝિટિવ હોય તો એ ના હોય તો આ કોઈની વાત કરતા આપણે આનંદ થાય. So there is whole machinery working inside, inner machinery.
What is the difference between the prajna versus intellect versus मन? Like આપણે ગ્રુપણીમાં વાત થઈ કે આપણે પ્રજ્ઞા ચેતવે, તો આપણને ખબર કેવી રીતના પડે કે આ માઇન્ડ નો કમ્પોનન્ટ છે કે લાઈક બુદ્ધિનો કમ્પોનન્ટ છે વર્સિસ કે પ્રજ્ઞાથી આપણને પ્રકાશ આવે છે?
Sure. હવે આ
આખો સાયન્સ કરી જવાનું છે અહીંયા.
કઈ નહીં. એટલે what he is asking is, after he has got his vision that he is Dr. Dhawan, he is a dentist. For those who don't know him,
He lives in Fremont.
and he has the vision કે vision એને મળ્યું છે કે ભાઈ by relative self I am Dr. Dhawan, and by real self I am free from mind, speech, body, naming, belonging, I am pure soul. એના પછી આ પૂછે છે. Let me clarify that. He is asking what is mind, what is intellect, and what is prajna, right? He is asking me about three things. So for that I have to, let's go inside, discover the world within. What is more important, the world within or world outside? What is more important, the world within or world outside?
Within.
World within, of course. But we know more of the outside world, we don't know the world within. કારણ કે nobody teaches us to look within. અને કદાચ જોઈએ તો આપણને કોઈ એવી ક્લેરિટી આપનારું છે નહીં. There is nobody who. So inside there is a whole machinery. So I'll detail everything from his question. Let me ask, who drives us? The computer has drivers, car has also driver, or a driverless car is a sensors is drivers. Who is driving us in our life?
Both circumstance and your own.
Oh, fine. Yeah, that's correct. But on a grosser side, the body is being driven. Actions are being driven by whom? By my inner relative self, known as Antaskar, which is Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar. So Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar works as the inner parliament. It shows me, let's go there. Then it shows, no, I have another work, let's go there. And then it says, no, relax and see the movie. The mind shows us different options. Intellect decides the benefit and loss depending on the perspective it feels important, right? The Chit or reflective consciousness can go wander inside and outside. Sitting here, it can show me my home at India. It can go to my friend's house. It can go anywhere, inside also, outside. It is the one who tastes happiness or unhappiness, Chit. And the ego just signs once the decision is arrived. Mind shows pamphlets, it shows different options. The Chit goes, this will be enjoyable or not enjoyable. The intellect decides. Once the decision comes inside, Mr. President ego signs it, and then the action starts. Okay, this is the basic which is driving the body. But then mind, body, speech, and mind, reflective conscious, intellect, and ego. मन बुद्धि चित्त अहंकार बोलते हम अकेले नहीं है. We are being driven by your beliefs and opinions. आपकी जैसी बिलीफ है ऐसा हम काम करते हैं, आपके जैसे ओपिनियन है ऐसा हम काम करते हैं. If I have good opinion about him, मेरा अंतस्करण पॉजिटिव काम करेगा. इनके लिए मेरा नेगेटिव ओपिनियन है तो मेरा अंतस्करण नेगेटिव काम करेगा. सो बिलीफ और ओपिनियंस के आधार से हम काम करते हैं. तो बिलीफ और ओपिनियंस बोलते हैं हम अकेले नहीं हैं. वी आर अगेन बीइंग ड्रिवन बाय योर इंटेंट्स एंड मोटिव्स. आपका जो इंटेंट या मोटिव है उसके हिसाब से हम काम करते हैं. इंटेंट एंड मोटिव किसी को लेग पुल डाउन करके आगे जाने का तो ऐसा काम करेगा. इंटेंट एंड मोटिव किसी को सुख देना है तो ऐसा काम करेगा. सो इंटेंट्स एंड मोटिव्स. फिर इंटेंट्स एंड मोटिव्स बोलते हम भी अकेले नहीं है, हमारे पीछे भी कोई फोर्स है. तो बोले वो कौन सा है? तो बोले क्रोध मान माया लोभ राग द्वेष का फोर्स है. मान मिलता है तो मैं जाऊंगा, मान नहीं मिलता है तो मैं नहीं जाऊंगा. मेरा लोभ कहाँ पे फायदा होता है तो मैं जाऊंगा. सो दीज आर द सटल मोस्ट. फिर क्रोध मान माया लोग बोलते हैं हम भी अकेले नहीं है. वी आर बेस्ड और वी आर देयर बिकॉज ऑफ योर इग्नोरेंस और ट्रू नॉलेज. यदि मैं शैलेश हूँ, मैं कर रहा हूँ, तो ये क्रोधमान में लोग काम करेंगे. शैलेश आपने ठीक नहीं किया, मेरा मान खड़ा हो जाएगा. पर यदि मेरे पास करेक्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि मैं इनसे मुक्त ऐसा शुद्धात्मा हूँ, तो वो लोग काम मंद हो जाएंगे. दे विल डिसअपियर ऑल्सो. सो अल्टीमेटली इट डिपेंड्स ऑन माई बिलीफ ऑफ स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग. मैं शैलेश हूँ एक बिलीफ है, मैं शुद्धात्मा हूँ दूसरी बिलीफ है. सो आई एंड माई जो बोला ना अभी, कि आई एंड माई का जहाँ सेपरेशन होता है, तो उसके ऊपर तो इस तरीके से पूरा अंतस्करण काम करता है. तो उसमें मन एक पार्ट है, माइंड इज वन पार्ट ऑफ द अंतस्करण. तो माइंड हैज टू कंपोनेंट्स, डिस्चार्जिंग माइंड या तो ग्रॉस माइंड, एंड चार्जिंग माइंड या तो कॉजल माइंड. सो डिस्चार्जिंग माइंड इज in the form of atoms and molecules. It throws various thoughts from morning to evening, even when you are awake or when you are sleeping. It just keeps on showing you the thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. It's like unending, continuously going on movie on a screen. Now, how do we use our mind? Sometimes we get bothered by our mind that it's not stopping. It's showing me thoughts after no. So, sign as yes in the thoughts which are according to our goal or aim or which are useful to us. All other thoughts, you may just ignore them. I don't pay attention to how many cars are going from the road. Only unless somebody like Dr. Dhaval is going to come, then, oh, Dhaval साहब का कार आया कि नहीं आया. So, attach yes to the relevant thoughts or useful, allow all others to pass away. Just ignore that. If they are bothering much more, कि यहाँ बहुत शोर हो रहा है, तो आईपॉड लगा दो कान में, एयरपोर्ट में, लिसन टू गुड म्यूजिक. डाइवर्ट योर अटेंशन टू समथिंग पॉजिटिव और इंस्पिरेशनल सो दैट डजंट बॉदर अस. और द थर्ड स्टेप इज स्टेप बैक एंड सी. मन को जब हम देखने जानने वाले हो जाता है, इफ आई एम शुद्धात्मा, तो मन ज्ञेय है, मैं ज्ञाता हूँ. मन थिएटर की फिल्म में चलती हुई फिल्म है, मैं एक काया थिएटर है, और मैं जानने वाला प्रेक्षक, मीन्स नोअर एंड सीयर हो गया. दैट्स अल्टीमेट. सो ये मन का काम है टू शो द डिफरेंट टेम्पलेट्स और थॉट्स. इंटेलेक्ट क्या करती है? सो इंटेलेक्ट इज लाइट कमिंग थ्रू द मीडियम ऑफ ईगो. ईगो के माध्यम से जो लाइट आती है वो इंटेलेक्ट कहलाती है. सो इफ माई ईगो इज पॉजिटिव, ईगो कैन बी पॉजिटिव, ईगो कैन बी नेगेटिव, ईगो कैन बी, और देयर कैन बी ईगोलेस स्टेट. पॉजिटिव ईगो मीन्स हेल्पिंग, केयरिंग, शेयरिंग, लविंग फॉर अदर्स. किसी को हेल्प करना, लव करना, केयर करना, शेयर करना, वो ईगो का पॉजिटिव काम है. तो इंटेलेक्ट ऐसा काम करेगी कि भाई इसे किस तरीके से हेल्प करूं, किस तरीके से उसको केयर करूं, शेयर करूं. नेगेटिव ईगो इज पुलिंग समबडी डाउन, क्रिटिसाइजिंग, कंडेमिंग, कुछ भी, ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिंग फॉर वंस ओन, इंक्रीजिंग वंस ओन इंपॉर्टेंस. सो नेगेटिव, इफ द ईगो इज नेगेटिव, इंटेलेक्ट ऐसा काम करेगी. उसका इंटेलेक्ट इज अ लाइट विच यू कैन यूज द वे यू वांट टू यूज इट. और ज्ञानी पुरुष ने बोला कि आपको जीवन में सुखी होना है तो ईगो का पॉजिटिव उपयोग करिए, दुखी होना है तो नेगेटिव उपयोग करिए, और परमानेंट ब्लिस चाहिए तो ईगो मुक्त स्टेट, ईगोलेस स्टेट में जाने की कोशिश करिए. तो हाउ कैन वी बिकम ईगोलेस? सो ईगो इज टू बिलीव आई एज वेयर नॉट आई एम. मैं शुद्धात्मा हूं, जानता नहीं हूं. सो आई हैव एस्क्राइब्ड बाय आई एज आई एम शैलेश, और आई एम माइंड बॉडी स्पीच, और आई एम डूअर. That ignorant state of being is known as ego. Once I know, okay, I am pure soul self, that I sitting into the pure state, and then obviously I am the non-doer because I am the knowledge light and perception light. So that is the beginning of egoless state. So if I want a permanent bliss, I should aspire to have the egoless state by knowing my true self, realizing the true self. Clear? So intellect is light coming through the medium of ego, positive, negative, or if I have egoless state मुझे मिली तो अच्छा. व्हाट इज प्रज्ञा? प्रज्ञा एक टेक्निकल वर्ड है. वंस आई नो हु एम आई, ये मन वचन का ऐसे भिन्न, ऐसा मैं शुद्धात्मा हूं, जब मैं जानता हूं तब मेरी जर्नी शुरू होती है, उसमें प्रज्ञा उत्पन्न होती है. अब तब तक मेरे पास अज्ञा है. अज्ञा क्या काम करती है? कुछ भी करता हूं वो मुझे क्रोधमान, माया और रागद्वेष के प्रति ले जाती है, सटल और ग्रॉस. उसमें से बाहर नहीं निकलने देती है, मीन्स रिलेटिव की ओर ही ले जाती है, बाहर नहीं निकलने देती. प्रज्ञा जब मेरी खड़ी होती है तब प्रज्ञा हमेशा आत्मा का ही देखती है. वो आत्मा की एक शक्ति है, शुद्ध आत्मा की. तो वो रिलेटिव और रियल को डिफरेंशिएट करती है. इंटेलेक्ट रिलेटिव में काम करती है, डिसीजन मेकिंग, गुड बैड, पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव. प्रज्ञा का फंडामेंटल फंक्शन है रिलेटिव और रियल को दोनों को अलग करना. प्रकृति may be good, may be bad, may be doing good, may be doing bad, but it's a relative and real is the pure soul self. दोनों को जो डिफरेंशिएट करती है वो प्रज्ञा है. प्रज्ञा विल टेल यू टू स्टे इन 5 आज्ञास कि भाई 5 आज्ञा से आप अपना शुद्ध आत्मा का हित देखते रहो. प्रज्ञा विल शो द मिस्टेक्स ऑफ योर प्रकृति कि भाई यू डिड नॉट डू दिस गुड, ये आपकी गलती हुई. टिल दैट टाइम आई कांट सी माई मिस्टेक्स, और इवन इफ आई रियलाइज माई मिस्टेक्स आई डू द प्रोटेक्शन कि नो ऐसा तो जरूरी था, नहीं तो ये तो सीधे रहते नहीं है, उन्होंने ऐसा किया इसलिए मैंने ऐसा किया. बट वंस द प्रज्ञा स्टार्ट्स functioning, it will show the mistakes of this prakriti and get it cleared of the mistakes. So prajna starts functioning once I know who am I. शुद्ध आत्मा प्राप्ति होने के बाद प्रज्ञा खड़ी होती है. It always sees the functions for the शुद्ध आत्मा state, keeps the two separate, prakriti and शुद्ध आत्मा, and also corrects the prakriti of its mistakes. Okay? So prajna is your most faithful secretary to make you reach the liberation.
So that can only give you the information between real and relative.
Yes.
Not in the relative part.
No. Basically, it separates the two, relative and real. Of course, it also tells you what is mistake in relative and what is not. So it does illuminate the relative part, but its main function is to separate the two, to keep it the two as separate.
But in like daily activities,
Yeah.
prajna
functions, yes.
Okay.
See, it functions like you are a dentist. You are seeing your patient. So prajna will tell that, okay, Dr. Dhaval, deal with your patients carefully, nicely. I am Shuddhatma, and you know what the Dr. Dhaval is doing all the day. Or I know what Shailesh is doing the whole day. So prajna gives us the awareness of our true self. And it also guides or illuminates the prakriti to do function properly. Both ways.
This is Senthil. Zanita's husband. Senthil.
Okay.
He just came from work, I guess. And
Yeah.
you want some water or something?
Sure, I can take some more. Thank you.
So like the question for like અંદરથી અવાજ આવે રાઈટ કોઈ બી વસ્તુનો ડેલી ડીલિંગ હોય કે કોઈ વસ્તુ આપણે ડિસાઇડ કરવાની હોય તો એ જે આવે છે એ પ્રજ્ઞાનું કમ્પોનન્ટ હોય કે બુદ્ધિ અને મનનો મિશ્રણ.
See, there are two things for us. એક છે તે આપણા અંતસ્કરણમાં સૂઝ પડે છે આપણને કામ કરવા જેવું છે, કામ કરવા જેવું નથી, which tries to guide us in a relative happenings part. પ્રજ્ઞા શું કરે છે તો કે રિલેટિવ રિયલ છૂટું પાડશે. પ્રજ્ઞા એટલું કહેશે કે ફાઇલનો સંભાવથી નિકાલ તમે કરો, એના માટે આ પ્રોપર છે કે નહીં એવું ગાઈડ કરશે. સૂઝ તમને રિલેટિવમાં કામ કેવી રીતે કરવું, યોગ્ય અયોગ્ય બધું કરશે. પણ પ્રજ્ઞા બેઝિકલી શું કરે કે આ રિલેટિવ છે, હું રિયલ છું, રિલેટિવમાં ફાઇલનો સંભાવથી નિકાલ થાય છે કે નથી થતો, એ મેઇન ફ્રેમવર્કમાં કામ કરશે પ્રજ્ઞા. એટલે most of the times both work harmoniously. They are not separate.
So where would the gut feeling fall into?
Gut feeling એ મારું રિલેટિવ આસ્પેક્ટનું એક inner achievement છે કે those who have that, see, it's a very big science. If my inner mirrors are clear, I can see through better way. એટલે gut feeling જે તમે કહો છો અથવા તો proper decision, see, who harasses us? Nobody outside. It's our own decisions, correct or wrong, appropriate or inappropriate, which most of the times make us go through pains or pleasures. So in that case, what's really happening? It's my dravya karmas chashma કે છે ને જે karmic effects છે, karmic ways. Inside, they act like inner spectacles through which I am seeing throughout whole of my life. If those inner spectacles are clear, I haven't given pain to unnecessary hurting to anybody, or I have been helpful or nice to, then my inner spectacles will be clearer. Then I can see through. So that will give me the inner understanding, or what you say as a gut feeling, that this would be good. If my inner spectacles are not very clear, what I will get will be contrary to what should have been. Then I realize, oh, I should not have done this.
Yes.
So this is whole natural science working.
So then the following question is, should we listen to the gut feeling, or we should just think and decide based on like critical thinking?
No, see, gut feel. See, again, here we are discussing, trying to keep that every component is separate.
Sure.
Actually, it doesn't remain separate. The whole process goes on, and it goes on very quickly inside. So inside, it is something like this. I feel, if there is a fog, you will wait for a while, or even if your fog light is not working, you will not drive. You will wait till the things clear, or your fog light is able to show you the path. Similarly, inside our antaskaran, I wait till there is no clarity for me, which way to go, what would be the consequences of going this way. So I'll wait, if possible, till the time I get my inner clarity. And at the time when I get my inner clarity, everybody's like, okay, now this is okay, it seems to be okay, then I go. That's one aspect. Always it may not be possible. Sometimes time doesn't allow me, or there's a state of confusion. Then I know, okay, ahead there are going to be some difficulties. So your inner state tells you what is going to come ahead of you. Most of the times there is echo inside, coming events cast their shadows before. And if you are quiet, you can see from what is going on within you that how the chain of events is going to unfold in front of you. So there is no single answer to that.
Right.
So just go by principles. And
Yeah, so like a lot of times we, like the example we gave, to like wait until the fog clears up
Yeah.
and then see if you have more clarity. So a lot of times we wait, but then by the time we get clarity, it's too late.
that is what I said in the second part. Okay, sometimes it doesn't allow me the time.
Yeah.
So then, whatever I have clarity, if not, I pray.
Right.
What the prayer helps me, it helps me to have the inner stability, probably inner clarity. So I resort to something. See, there are two things: efforts and prayers, or efforts and some other means which can help me to get the clarity.
Sure.
So I'll employ whatever available with me, my efforts, my everything. And efforts also include the discussion with the well-wishers or guidance from well-wishers and everything, because all these fall into the area of scientific circumstantial evidences. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose my mother was critically ill. At one stage, after putting the stents, his hemoglobin continuously was going down. My cardiologist friend was saying that this Brilinta has to be continued because she has a LAD block. You can't stop it. My sixth sense was telling me that stent तो block जब ही होगा तब होगा, hemoglobin down होने से मर जाएगी है.
Right.
So this was a catch-22 situation for me. I can't ignore my cardiologist friend. I can't. But then my inside, the voice came, okay, let's have more opinions. So I asked the cardiologist from Bombay, approaching through somebody.
Sure.
I asked other friends, and the consensus came that, okay, you can stop one medicine, at least see what happens. So I got, and I, on my own, my cardiologist friend was also a very good friend of mine, but I ignored that part, and I took the decision. I stopped one medicine, and her hemoglobin stabilized, and she's alive for 4 years. Now she's living.
Good.
So there are situations where you are in a difficult situations to take the decisions, is what I have said.
Right.
This was a situation. So I discussed with my brothers and sisters, even though they were non-medical, because they were stakeholders. They are the sons of my mother. So
Right.
उनको भी मैं neglect नहीं कर सकता हूँ. So I employed everything. दादा को प्रार्थना भी किया, ये किया, वो किया. Ultimately, I survived with my decision.
Sure.
So the situations will come in a different ways. So depending on the situation, you use whatever best you can. And then ultimately what happens is in the Vyavasthit, grand scheme of Mother Nature. But most of the times, if inside I'm stable, it's something like that, a lake which is stable, with a stable water you can see through and through.
Sure.
If it is there, all turmoil going on, you can't see through. So most of the times there is inner turmoil within us. So take the steps so that your inner turmoil gets to the quiescent state, and then you can see better. That's what I feel. So, and that involves everything. For us, Shuddhatma, prayers, Dada Bhagwan, taking inputs from well-wishers, everything put together may allow us to better reach to the decision. These people ring me so many times. What should we do? I am not expert, but I say something which comes to my heart with all good wishes and good prayers, and ultimately the things work. Right? Because there are many things where we feel that whether we should go this way, or that way. So summarizing the thing, we have, let's say, three parts of this science. One is the simple understandings for our daily living. That if my mind, speech, and body offer happiness and help, I am the first beneficiary. Before giving happiness to others, I receive happiness. Before helping others, I am being helped. And the counterpart, if my mind, speech, and body are to hurt somebody, I am also disturbed. So this science has some simple understandings for daily living like this one. Then if you want harmonious living, then there is avoid clashes. Now obviously we don't want to enter into clashes, but at the subtle level we have the difference of opinions. And we are not able to reconcile ourselves or to the others. So that leads us to the sort of subtle clashes, if not obvious. And whenever there is a clash, my own energy level goes down. And I want to avoid clashes. So what is the vision for that? So vision for that, everybody has his or her own viewpoint. As I feel I am right, everybody feels he or she is right. So I should take into account the other viewpoints also. Everybody is right by his or her own viewpoint. And when I decide to avoid clashes, my inner light will show me the way out, how to pass through the situation, resolve the situation amicably without having the clashes. Now, avoid clashes doesn't mean surrendership. Avoid clashes doesn't mean to let go. If you let go, your spring will rebound someday. So try not to suffer, but to resolve the situation, and your inner light will help you. The third, as we discussed, in present times, what is most needed is the art of adjusting everywhere with all different personalities under all different situations. If we can't adjust because at home, at workplace, all the personalities are different. Isn't it that? Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes, because the nature has created such a situation that in previous times, similar personalities were getting together at home or at workplace. In present time, different personalities come together at home or at workplace. But everybody has a fruit or flower, means everybody has some positivity, some virtue, some skills. So I should look at the flower of the rose and not at the thorn of the rose. So know and learn and find out what one knows, use that, and never complain of shortcomings. So adjust everywhere. And we talked about positive vision in the daily living. Then we talked about destiny, or what is in my relative free will and real free will, and what is where I'm dependent, when I'm independent. So that allows me to have the inner clarity at how I should use my relative free will power and the natural laws, that whatever is happens to the scientific circumstantial evidences. So before that, I do my best. After it happens, I say whatever has happened is just and correct because it is as per the nature's scheme. Third is, who am I? What's my true self or the real self? What are the attributes and function of the real or true self? How does the two function? And if I know my true self, my real bliss and real free will start. So that's the summary of what we have discussed. And what he is asking is about is after I have the next journey starts after I know who am I. So then my another journey starts, inner journey. which is a blissful journey towards the ultimate aim of freeing me from everything. So if you have anything, you can ask. This is just a free interactive discourse. It's not a one-way dialogue. Right? It's just whatever one feels, one is putting across, and we are trying to discuss around those things. Whatever you were asking there, also you asked in here.
Yeah.
There are two parts. One is the relative part, another is the real. And Prajna has a broad framework. Prajna guides us in a broad framework that whatever is happening, if the one is confused or the one is clear. Prajna first says me, stay as knower and seer. Then Prajna says, work in the framework that whomsoever you are working is relative, real, Shuddhatma, Vyavasthit, and Philo. Dispose your files amicably with equanimity. Then our relative self-clarity helps us to take the decisions and going ahead. So everything works together, not as, I think, single entity. So for those who are interested, we can what should be the time tomorrow for this experiment?
It's I think up to
5 o'clock.
how many people?
No, I don't know how many.
Because I think we may have probably like a few more people coming in the evening. So I was thinking if you want to do that probably before starting that 5 to 7 session.
Yeah. That was what I was
Okay.
also wondering.
Exactly.
But then the next question is whosoever are interested, whether they would be able to come before 5 because it's a working day.
That is also another thing. Yeah.
So how best we plan?
Maybe we can just ask them whoever is planning to come.
And whosoever you have called, by what time they are expected to come?
So they are flexible. I think I did tell them 3:30.
That is okay.
On the way, I said it might change.
That is done. પછી જે મોડા આવશે એ બધા introduced છે already, એટલે means if they are already knowing this science, તો પછી લોકોને સમર્પણ વિધિમાં બેસે.
કદાચ એક બે જણ ના આવે.
Do you have any spiritual questions or any
Even non-spiritual questions.
Non-spiritual.
There is nothing. Is there anything like non-spiritual? Tell me.
No.
There is nothing like non-spiritual. Why? Because I am there, so my life is there. So spiritual means my inner living or my inner science, I would say. So how can it be non-spiritual? If I exist,
Okay.
my existence is there, right? So as long as my existence is there, there has to be understanding for my existential being and how can I be happy, harmonious, positive or meaningful. So to me, there is nothing like non-spiritual.
Okay.
We all live with certain understandings, right? In every walk of life,
Okay.
we live with certain understanding or certain set of beliefs, whatever you say.
Okay.
So there can be two things. Whether my understanding, beliefs or vision at the present moment is giving me happiness, harmony, positivity, meaning, and whether it enables me to experience my inner freedom in different situations, especially the critical or challenging ones, and if it allows me to know my true self, or if not, then can there be better or correct understanding or vision or belief which can allow me to have all these things?
Okay.
So it is nothing but the understanding, beliefs or vision which I have currently, and whether it can be better one or a correcter one, more correct. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I am eye surgeon, by the way.
Okay.
So I humorously say that there is outer eye, there is inner eye. EYE.
Okay.
So nature has given me opportunity to work with outer eye, EYE, which I operate also. Then there is inner eye, EYE, in the form of understanding, beliefs and visions. Then small eye, which is my ego, and big eye, which is my true self. All sound similarly I. Right? Outer eye, inner eye, small eye and big eye. Nice situation. No? And all are important, not?
Yeah.
Outer eye is important, inner eye is important, small eye is also important, big eye is also important.
Nothing.
हमारी हिंदी भाषा में बोलते हैं लोग आस्तिक और नास्तिक, तो ज्ञानी पुरुष ऐसा बोलते हैं कोई नास्तिक हो सकता नहीं। क्यों? तो बोले जो अस्तित्व का, जिसको भान है अस्तित्व का स्वीकार है, वो आस्तिक है।
That's too much Hindi for me.
Too much Hindi for you? Okay. But because I don't know the English meaning of astic or nastic, that is why atheist and unatheist are not the exact parallel words. Anyway, leave it. In other words, I say that one who is aware that I am, we are accepting our existence, I am there, right? So the very acceptance of our existence or awareness that I am puts us into the field of spirituality, the science related to I, my mind, speech, body, inner happenings, outer happenings, and the forces or regulatory system, laws, etc. Whatever word you use it, whether you use word spirituality or better you don't use it, it's the science pertaining to my own inner self and in connection to the outer happenings, nature of the regulatory system, and universe as a whole. So we term it as a holistic science. Holistic means wholesome. Holistic science, which basically includes my I, mind, sweet body, inner and outer, all these things. And most importantly, it's free of any bar or barrier. Caste, religion, faith, belief, whatever, socio-economic status. And another important thing, it does not ask for any hard penance, no external renunciation, only correct understanding.
Okay.
So these are the two most important points. And third most important point, it doesn't ask for any fees. That has to be clarified, no? કે વાત કરો, તારાથી પણ વાત થાય ને? તે સાંભળ્યું બધું? પ્લીઝ પ્લીઝ.
આરમ સમારમ સંભ્રમ
આ લોકોને બહુ અઘરું પડશે. Anyway, what he is asking is a technical word, but inside the thought comes repulse, vibration. Once I sign it, okay, I should do this, it's a beginning of the thing. That's what he is asking in one way. And ખાસ તો ભાવના લેવલ પર છે.
અચ્છા,
ભાવ સ્પંદન થાય, ભાવ મહિલા ભાવે કે ભાવે પડે તો ચિત્રાંગણ નામ થાય જ છે. તો ખરેખર ભાવના પણ હવે આપણે તો શુદ્ધાત્મા થયા, તો ભાવથી મુક્ત થયા છે, એટલે હવે આપણને ખરેખર આરામ ના હોય એ સેન્સમાં ભાવના લેવલ પર. હવે જે થાય તે રિલેટિવ ડિસ્ચાર્જના લેવલ પર થાય છે. પણ બાકી સ્પંદન ભાવ મહિલા ભાવ કે ભાવી પડે એને લાગુ પડે છે આરંભ સમારંભ સમારંભ. હવે આપણે
દાદા કદાચ આરામને પરિકથામાં જતા રહ્યા.
હા, યસ, એટલા માટે કેમ કે હું શુદ્ધાત્મા છું, પછી પરિગ્રહ એટલે મારો માઇન્ડ. કાલે વાત કરી હતી એમાં કે એડિશન થયું આજે કે ના થયું?
So a lot of times I think, like, if you look at these flowers and leaves and all these things, right? So many colorful, creativity by the nature. And a lot of times we see those exotic birds, so precisely colored around the eyes and feathers, and even if I have to draw, I cannot replicate anything close to that. So does that mean there is someone as a creator for all those, natural phenomena like birds, different colorful leaves and flowers and all that.
Creator is in the form of scientific circumstantial evidences.
Right.
Creator is there, but creator in the form of scientific circumstantial evidences, not in the form of any individual. If there would have been individual, there would have been some mistakes
Certainly.
or some partialities or something. But it's created by scientific circumstantial evidences.
Because a lot of times I think like, human body is so complex.
Miraculous.
Machine. This phone, this car is nothing close to it.
No simile. Make one eye.
Absolutely.
You can't. Even a small part you can't. So it's a nature's wonderful creation. God has not created this at all. God just gives the knowledge and perception light. God has created is correct by belief or viewpoint. As a fact, it is scientific circumstantial evidences. God is there, but God is our very true nature or true nature of every living being, which is in the form of pure consciousness, having infinite knowledge light, infinite perception light, and infinite bliss, which we term as Shuddha Chaitanya, pure conscious.
What does scientific circumstantial evidences mean?
Yeah, scientific circumstantial evidences include all the things by which the circumstances accumulate and disperse in a particular sequence. See, suppose whatever is happening, our body running or whatever is happening, it has a pre-set of scientific rules through which the circumstances accumulate and disperse. There are, see, whatever sun, moon, everything if you see, it is not only about circumstances, it's functioning in a scientific way, particular laws or nature or fundamentals or truths. So all these happenings, including the governance, sun, moon, rain, everything, if you see there are set processes going on. Low pressure ho gaya, so there is cyclone and everything. Though there is no individual creator, the things are happening by certain circumstantial evidences which accumulate or disperse in a scientific way according to the nature and natural laws. Similarly, our body is also functioning according to certain set rules. Though we go to sleep, we don't care of heart beating. It's beating by its own scientific ways. All the systems are working like that. So scientific circumstantial evidences in gross terms means all the happenings which involve the circumstances, assimilation and dispersion of the circumstances, it's in a scientific way or a particular, following the particular rules or the patterns or fundamental rules of the nature. And the second deeper aspect of that is, why do I get such scientific circumstantial evidences in my life or living? Is nature independent? Is it nature's will? No. Whatever I had fed into that natural system, which is a like large land computer system, my bhavs were fed into the natural system. So natural system functions according to my fed bhavs. How we are together today. My bhav of sharing something, your bhav of knowing something brought us together. And it is the circumstantial evidences which all came together. But based on what? Based on my bhav, your bhavs, all the bhavs which were fed into the natural system. So natural system gives the result in a scientific way. So this is how it is functioning. Grossly you can term is that a natural regulatory system. But how does that system function is through by way of accumulation and dispersion of circumstantial evidences in a scientific way. Yeah, sure. Your order. Order of the host is always the final one.
Order के invitation.
लाइटर नोट माथे आपका हुक्म सर माथे पे चलो everybody is invited to take the prasadi.